So this is our IMS project with the name of Car Mania for the subject code UCS304, and the team members in this project are Siddharth Khanuja, me, Siddharth Katpal and Shriparna Dev. This project is a product-based management system for a medium-sized factory in Ludhiana, and it will go live in the upcoming future. So the first question that arises is how this works. So the data is inputted through a form which has HTML5 and CSS3. This includes validation for almost all the fields which are used in the input through HTML5 attributes. This data then goes to the 5 tables inside the database which are created in MySQL version 5.6.17, and this linking of the front end, which are the forms, and the back end, which is the database, occurs through PHP version 5.5.12. So now we enter into a live example for the project. We are going to insert data into the tables through a form, just one though.
So now we see that the data has been added for a new employee. Now coming back to the part where we have to check the information, where we have added the information to the table, and now we have to check the output. Suppose just now we added the data of a employee ID 10053. So now through this form, when I click on the check-in table, the data is displayed for the person. The data is displayed for the person with employee ID 10053, which has just been added. So now coming back to the point of addition. Now suppose a new order has been placed. Clicking on new order. Now here I go. Suppose a new order has been placed through this form, just as we added in employees. This forms provides for a new order. Okay. Similarly, for now, if now we need to check the order that has been placed and want to know which customer placed what order, we click on customer name, add that person's name, and then click on check table, which provides us with this information. Now coming back to the check order, there are two more components of check order, that is component name and order ID, which provides us with the information of when a different component, the part that is being produced by the producer, is being we have to check whether this component is being produced right now by the producer. Again, order ID. Suppose a new order has been placed, we always give an order ID to that particular order. So if we have to check it by the order ID, we click on order ID and then we get the information. Now coming back to the VCI bags. VCI bags is a big thing in this company's future, as this is one of the major products that is being produced by the producer. Now clicking, if a new order arises for VCI bags, we click on new order, input that order, and again similarly as we said for production orders, we click on check order, and depending on which way we have to choose, we click on the orders. Now coming back to tool information. Suppose the tool you are using different kinds of tools per day for production. So now you have to enter that data into tools. So similarly for this, we have a tools form through which we can input data according to the date on which the tool was issued. Similarly, for if we have to check how much the tool cost, or on which date the amount of cost, that the total cost that this tool cost us was, by clicking on tool issue, date of issue, we can find out the date. So that was the basic structure of our table, basic structure of our system website. So this is how we input the data and hence check for the data that has been inputted. This will help in the future, as whenever a new order comes, the person will not have to write it down on a sheet of paper. He will just have to enter that data, and when he needs to know which order is to be delivered, he can click on check order and come to know about that particular amount of order and the date that order has to be delivered. Similarly, when we go to tools, we come to know the cost that the tools had on a particular amount of day. So this is how the table, this is how we implement MySQL, that is through XAMPP server, as my friend talked about it in the starting. XAMPP server, I'd implement it in the form of a website, and thus help the person bring back, so that the usage of paper is reduced and the person is able to view the data that is being produced.
Now we know what all this project can do. It has a front end which consists of forms and a back end which consists of tables and a database. We also know it works in the background using PHP. And we also learned how the various forms work and why the fields made for input were made so. The logic behind the check attributes along with a live example was also discussed. So, in the end, we have a working project for a factory. We no longer need to rely on paper for work. It is also simple to grasp with no complications. Database linking is also smooth and efficient. One last thing before we close up is the further functionality we are going to add in the future. The updation of data, which will allow for updating of data which is outdated or incorrect. Another feature is the login panel, so that only the database administrator is able to do the necessary actions to change the database through the forms. The site will also be able to go live in the future, and this can be accessed using an SQL server. So that is all for now. Hope you liked our IDE and our implementation.